Hi guys, good afternoon. My name is Daniel Peralta and I am from Ligao National High School. And this afternoon we're going to be talking about something that is very essential as we approach the new normal. But before I go into my discussion, I want to show you a number of different slides that I found on the internet. And then you tell me exactly what's wrong, or you at least comment below sakali you find something that is wrong with the following slides that I'm going to show you. Let's start with the first one. This is actually a slide that was presented by a professor in Michigan Institute of Technology, and sinasabi niya dito kung paano daw gawin ng mga estudyante niya yung PowerPoint slide niya. As you can see here, there are a number of different GIFs that are moving, ang daming gumagalaw-galaw, and hindi match yung color combination niya sa slides. So ang hirap basahin at nakakalito. So that's the first slide that I want to show you. The second slide na nakita ko dito, papakita ko sa inyo is ito. This is an actual slide that was presented by a telephone company for their products and services in their proposal. So ang problema dito is that you can barely read the text dahil sa pangit na color combination. Halos hindi mo rin mabasa yung network, yung product, and yung service na ino-offer, and I don't think na makakabenta ka sa ganitong klaseng PowerPoint. The third one is a PowerPoint presentation slide by a public CEO na pinresent niya noong 2010. Well, you can say that it has graphics in it, it has a lot of data in it, it has a lot of text in it, but it has become very overwhelming sa part ng PowerPoint kasi ang daming laman, ang daming data, ang daming nakasulat. So you don't know exactly where to focus on dun sa diagram ba, sa graphics, or sa text. So this is also very confusing in the point of the students or the viewers. The last slide that I'm going to show you, believe it or not, was actually presented by a US Army general in the United Nations. And I swear I don't understand kung ano nakalagay dito. There are so many words, so many texts, and I can't process kung ano yung gusto niyang sabihin sa PowerPoint na to. So, bakit ko nga ba pinapakita itong mga slides na to? Ang daming PowerPoint presentations, ang daming problema sa mga slides na to. Bakit ko nga ba pinapakita sa inyo itong mga slides na to? Anong problema? Well, 90% of whatever it is that is written on those slides, mawawala or hindi mo na maaalala in 30 seconds. Imagine going through all of these things, trying to make data look visually appealing, putting all the effort into PowerPoint presentations, only to be gone in 30 seconds. Parang ang saklap naman nun sa part ng gumawa ng PowerPoint or sa teacher na nagturo sa klase na nawala lang sa tinuro niya in 30 seconds. So, this afternoon, yun ang approach natin. Yun ang try natin baguhin. Paano nga ba mag-retain ng information na tinuturo natin sa mga estudyante gamit ang PowerPoint at hindi yun mawawala in 30 seconds? So sit back as I discuss to you how to make effective PowerPoint presentations for teachers. Okay, so let's start with the first one. PowerPoint presentations for teaching. There is a fine line that differentiates PowerPoint presentations for teaching and PowerPoint presentations for something else. There is a PowerPoint presentation for advertisement, there is a PowerPoint presentation for marketing, there is a PowerPoint presentation for even thesis defense. So, for example, nag-present kayo ng defense sa thesis nyo, tapos merong panelists, you present PowerPoint presentations to show data that you have collected in your research. But the problem with this is that hindi dapat ganun ang paggawa natin ng PowerPoint presentations kung ito ay para sa pagtuturo natin. Because we have a number of different objectives when we make a PowerPoint presentation for teaching. Let's talk about the first one. Let's not forget that the first and the utmost goal of our PowerPoint presentation for teaching is that we want to be able to facilitate students' learning of content. At the end of the day, we want to help students learn whatever it is that we are going to be talking about. So, the goal of the PowerPoint is to facilitate students' learning of content. Second, it can be used with lecture, discussion, or group works. In our usual daily conversation, daily classroom routine, kung normal pa, di ba? Pwede mong isabay ang PowerPoint presentation mo sa pagle-lecture or pag-discuss ng group work sa mga bata. So, pwedeng kasabay ng pagbigay mo ng group work, merong PowerPoint presentation na mayroong timer na nagsasabi sa mga bata na mabilis na mag-time at malalapit na sila mag-report ng kanilang output. Third, ito yung sinasabi ko, retaining of knowledge is necessary. Importante na matandaan ng mga estudyante kung ano yung pinagsasalita mo sa PowerPoint mo dahil kailangan lang ma-retain yung knowledge na yon. Remember the PowerPoint slides that I showed you kanina? I'm gonna show them again here. 90% of whatever is written there, nawawala agad. And hindi yun pwede kapag natuturo tayo. Kasi we wanted to teach them something that they can actually like treasure with them until they grow old, or bring with them for the longest time possible. Kasi kailangan matutunan nila yon. But when we present our thesis and our data, the panelists don't have to remember kung ilan ang na-survey mo, ilan yung na-reach mong quota, ilan yung napabentahan mo, ilan yung na-interview mo. Kasi hindi nga pareho yung PowerPoint na yon. So kung magtitesis ka, panelist ka, hindi mo kailangan maalala after ilang taon kung ilan ba yung na-survey ni ganito, ilan yung na-interview ni ganito. But if you're making a PowerPoint presentation for teaching, kailangan matandaan nila in the longest possible time yung diniscuss mo. Kaya retaining of knowledge is necessary kapag PowerPoint na for teaching ang pinag-uusapan. And last, although hindi na siya masyadong applicable ngayon sa new normal, PowerPoints have a psychological component. Back then, hopefully when things go back to normal, pag may dala kang projector or may dala kang PowerPoint presentation sa klase, somehow the students feel like it's going to be an interesting day. It's going to be an interesting topic kasi meron silang PowerPoint na inaabangan, and mas parang na-feel nila na makinig sa teachers. So meron silang extra attention na binibigay sa iyo. So the pressure is yours to make sure that you meet that kind of expectation to the students. So, ano na nga ba? Let's go into the details of what is effective PowerPoint presentations. But gusto kong atakihin siya ng pabaliktad. Gusto ko na lang ipakita what is not effective PowerPoint presentations. So, yun. I-discuss ko siya in such a way that I will demonstrate when creating PowerPoint presentations, what not to do. The most common PowerPoint mistake. Let's start with the first common PowerPoint mistake. The most common PowerPoint mistake is that people tend to write everything they're going to say in presentation on the slide. Although this eliminates the need to memorize your lecture, eventually the slides look crowded, they look wordy and boring. You will lose your audience interest before you even finish the slide. So do you see what happened there? Tignan nyo yung slide. Sobrang congested ng text, sobrang dami ng text, and ang hirap na ipagkasya doon yung buong text sa isang slide. Inabot pa ako ng extra slide para sa isang last sentence ko. This isn't something that should be done. Although hindi mo na kailangan mag-memorize kasi nakalagay na nga dyan, the problem is that the interest of the crowd, the interest of the students are already lost bago mo pa matapos yung PowerPoint slide mo yon. And it's a common PowerPoint mistake. You don't have to do that. You don't have to put everything that you're going to say in the PowerPoint slide. So do not do that. Do not put everything that you're going to say in the presentation on the slide. Second, let's talk about this one. The second problem that most people usually would have is font size. As you can see here, this is a graph and the labels are too small and sometimes the labels are too big. So paano yan? The problem is you have to make sure that your font size is the same or at least readable at kahit dun sa pinaka-last row ng klase mo. Ang suggested font size ko is 24 for the body and then 48 for the title or mga big highlighted words na pwede mong gamitin. Okay, ito, medyo maraming guilty nito na PowerPoint mistake na to. Moving and too heavily animated text and sentences are not necessary. Ang daming gumagawa niyan. And just because there is a wide selection of animation doesn't mean that we can sample each and every slide. Minsan na-overwhelm tayo, ay ang dami, ang ganda, umiikot-ikot katulad nito. O, kung makita mo siya, umiikot-ikot siya, tapos kung makita mo siya, naga-rotate siya and all. It's impressive and entertaining, yes, but it actually is confusing din for the students sometimes. Lalo na kung medyo technical yung topic, it's not necessary. And just because na ang dami ng pagpipilian ng mga umiikot-ikot dyan, doesn't mean na i-apply mo siya sa buong PowerPoint mo. So we have to do away with a lot of animations. As much as possible, we can just try to use fade. I'm gonna put the names here sa gilid. Fade, peek in, and fly out, fly in. Yun lang. Yun lang mga ginagamit natin usually. Huwag tayong gumamit ng emphasis nag-rotate or nag-flicker or nag-shimmer yung mga text and all. Okay, let's talk about this one. Please do not bullet point everything and make the slide really difficult to read. When presenting data, drop the bullet points. Although we can't like really drop bullet points, but as much as possible, we need to limit the use of bullets in our discussion, in our PowerPoint presentations. May tanong ako, bakit ba siya tinawag na bullet? Have you ever wondered why they are called bullets? Di ba ang mga bullets nakakapatay? So yes, bullets kill the PowerPoint presentations. They kill the interest in the presentation. And slides like this do not only look boring, but they also cause us to be very overwhelmed. May tamang way ng paggamit ng bullets. I will discuss it later. So those are some of the most common PowerPoint mistakes. But let's talk more about some tips and tricks to improve. Now that we know exactly what's wrong with our PowerPoint presentation, alam na natin kung anong mali, let's go and try to fix the things that we usually do wrong. The first thing that I want you guys to understand is that when you do a PowerPoint presentation, the first tip is, ayan, you only have to have one message or idea per slide. Isang idea or isang message lang kada slide. Ano bang ibig sabihin yan? Let's say, for example, I'm talking about the skeletal system. I am a biology teacher, kunyari. And today's lesson, kunyari, is about the trabeculae. So, ayan, di ba ang hirap na nung topic? Trabeculae, ano ba yan? I don't even know what that is. Pero let's say that we have a difficult topic today and medyo mahirap siyang topic and sasabayan pa ng magulong PowerPoint, ano nang mag-iintindihan ng mga bata dyan. So, eto, the skeletal system and the topic is about the trabeculae. Yung trabeculae pala, isa siyang buto or the trabeculae bone is also known as the cancellous bone or spongy bone, is a very porous type of bone, highly vascularized and contains red bone marrow. Ano daw? I don't understand. So, yun ang topic niya. The concept here is the tip here is to make sure that you only have one message or idea per slide. Isang message or isang ideya lang kada slide. So, ano ba? Let's choose kung alin dito sa slide ang gusto mong i-discuss. Na-discuss ko yung trabeculae, ang gusto kong i-discuss is yung function of the trabeculae. So, dapat, sa isang slide ko, tatanggalin natin yung what is trabeculae kasi na-discuss ko na yun kanina. Let's just remove it and tignan nyo yung bagong slide. We have removed it and we just discussed about the function of the trabeculae. Now, this is already better but it's not yet the best. At least, na-improve natin. So we are now following the concept or the principle that we have to have only one message or idea per slide. And in this case, the one idea that we have is the function of the trabeculae, which is, yun nga daw, it absorbs the stresses on the bones and they don't break, and it is arranged to support the areas that experience the most stress in our body. So at least, alam natin na yun yung function ng trabeculae, yun lang yung idea or concept na nandun sa slide na yun. Okay, let's talk about the second tip and trick. The second tip or trick is the working memory. Ano ba yon? Ano ba yung the working memory? Ayan. Balikan natin yung slide natin kanina. Yung function ng trabeculae. Ayan daw. Ang trabeculae daw, meron siyang maraming butas. It has a lot of holes in it. And every time you walk or jump, you put large stresses on the bones in the area. Ang dami ng text. And ang hirap niya nang intindihin. Ang gulo pa ng text. So what do? Let's drop everything. Okay, let's remove everything. Ilagay lang natin yung skeletal system na trabeculae, tas let's drop everything and then put the features in short, sweet bits of text like this one. The first one is, although it has a lot of holes in it, it's still very strong. Yun na agad ang discussion mo. Second is, it provides strength to the bones when you jump or when you jump or run by absorbing stress. And third, it is arranged by the body to support the areas that experience the most stress. If you can go back, ito yung lumang PowerPoint slide mo. Tapos, pinag-abridge natin siya, pinaikli natin siya into 3 sentences. Ito lang yung pinaka-importanting mga dapat natin matutunan. A slide like this has been shortened, pero still, it looks texty. So what do we want to do? The best way actually to fix this and to improve this is syempre, magpakita tayo ng picture ng trabeculae. Gets? The working memory is this. When you associate the text with an image, the students have a tendency to understand it better. Mas maiintindihan nila na mas maayos kung ano yung gusto mong sabihin. So, pag nakita nilang ganito, yan pala yung trabeculae, then lagyan mo ng picture sa gilid. That's the better way to do it. And remove, as much as possible, the words that come with the slide. So, yun. Last, di ba, para mas mapa-improve pa yung working memory, sabi baga dun sa discussion ng trabeculae is that it inspired the Eiffel Tower design. So since it inspired the Eiffel Tower design, might as well lagyan mo ng picture kung paano yung bones na yun nakapag-inspire ng construction ng Eiffel Tower design. So that way, your PowerPoint slide will not only be too technical but also be relatable to the students because I'm sure they know the Eiffel Tower. And then if they recall the picture of the Eiffel Tower and understand the concept, the structural concept as to how it was made, they will be able to better understand how the trabeculae works and how it supports our body in our skeletal movement. So mas madali mo siya. That's how you use working memory. Yun. Mas naiintindihan nila kasi they are going to be paired with an image that will help them understand it better. Okay, let's talk about this one. The third tip and trick is about size. Does size matter? I think size matters a lot, lalo na sa PowerPoint presentations. Let's talk about this particular slide. The skeletal system, the skull, mandible, clavicle, sternum, etc., etc. Where are your eyes drawn to? Saan siya mas nakafocus? Sa tingin ko, mas magiging focused ka doon sa headline or doon sa title, which is the skeletal system. Kasi yun yung pinakamalaki. But let me ask you this. Ano bang mas importanteng bagay sa PowerPoint slide na to? Yung title or yung body? Siyempre yung body. Kasi yun yung mas importanteng topic natin. When we talk about this slide, dapat mas paliitin natin yung title. Kasi mas importante na mas mag-focus ang mata natin dun sa body. So how do we do that? Let's reduce the size of the text, of the title into smaller and make the body bigger. So if you can see this, pag titingnan nyo, ang mga mata nyo, diretso sa skeletal system. Pero pag ito ang slide mo, diretso siya sa body, which is the skull, the mandible, and the clavicle, which is actually the more important part of the slide. Anyway, alam na rin naman nila na skeletal system ang topic mo, might as well give it less importance because you want to talk about the parts of the skeletal system and not the skeletal system as the title. So again, reduce the size of the title to make sure that the body is given more importance than the title. Okay, the fourth tip and trick that I wanted to talk to you about is contrast. Now, contrast plays a very important role in controlling the focus of your students. Students have a tendency to go around and not really be focused into the discussion. So, contrast will help you to maximize the effect of this PowerPoint tool to make sure that your students do not lose track of whatever it is that you're talking about. So, the principle of contrast is this. Let's have an example. This is the basic slide that we have been talking about earlier. And the slide here is talking about this. The contents that are in here are, kumbaga, sabog. Hindi mo alam kung saan titingin yung estudyante. Kung sa skull, sa mandible, sa clavicle, sa sternum. Hindi mo alam kung saan titingin yung mga estudyante. Kung sa humerus, sa radius, sa ulna, or kung saan paman. But applying the principle of contrast, you can get to control where they look at. Let's see how this works. So you have this slide that talks about the skeletal system. You show them the skull, and then you go around and talk about the skull. But look what happens when you press next, applying the principle of contrast. Look, di ba? Nag-gray siya or nag-less opacity, nagbaba yung opacity ng skull. Thus, everyone is going to be steered to looking at the mandible instead. And then everyone will be looking at the clavicle. Everyone will be looking at the sternum, and etc., etc. Because you get to control where they look at using the principle of contrast. The good news is that you're not just limited to putting it into text. You can also use that in images, just like this one when you're trying to make them identify the parts of the skeleton system, like the rib cage or the pelvic bone or the femur, and etc. But the question is, how do you do this? So we will now go into the demonstration part. When the first thing that I want you guys to do is to go and get your laptops and make a new slide. Make a new slide like this and then try to make a slide that has these parts. The title and then the subtitle or the contents in it. So you can, if you're an AP teacher, you can try to like put Asian countries and then maybe get Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, etc. Or like, I don't know what other concepts you guys have. For example, parts of speech, and then you can put adjective, noun, and etc. etc. I don't know. But just make a slide like this with a title and the enumerated contents in it. I'll give you 5 minutes to work on it. And for the meantime, I'm gonna be playing some music for you guys to listen to. Okay. Um, Now we're back, and then hopefully you guys have already made a slide like this one. And then it's very easy. It's just you don't have to worry. Kayang-kaya nyo gawin. So you can just select. The first step that you have to do is to make sure that you select everything that you wrote on the bullets or the sentences, and then go to animations tab and then select appear. Now, once all of them already has the animation appear, you go here at the upper right and select on click. Now, everyone will be appearing on your on click on or on your queue. Now, the last step, which is really a few clicks left before you finish this, is to click the individual animation and then select after animation, select a color, more color, and select a color that is close to the background that you just had. Select a color like that, and then that's it. Go to the second animation, select after animation, and then select the color that you chose. Go to the second animation, and then do that for the rest of the items on your slide. Once you're done, apply. This will actually change the animation into dimming into this color once it's already done with the animation, and that's it. You're done. Now, if you want to see your presentation, you can just press this and then go to the skeletal system and then present the skull, and then it will gray out into mandible, clavicle, sternum, etc., etc. And I hope na nasundan nyo yun, guys. If ever you have questions or comments, let me know in the comments down below para ma-address natin yan. Let's go back to our presentation. We're done with the demonstration. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is this one. It's a very debatable topic in the world of PowerPoint because a lot of people argue that bright background PowerPoints are so much better than dark backgrounds. But personally, I think na, for example, you have this real-life face-to-face interactions again. When you do bright background PowerPoints, the problem is that it competes against you. And definitely, mas maputi yung PowerPoint ko kaysa sa akin. Hindi naman ako kasi ganun kaputian. So, talagang problema ko to. Kasi, apektado ako dahil makakapag-compete or makikipag-agawan siya sa atensyon na binibigay ng PowerPoint kaysa sa akin. I have to remind myself that the PowerPoint is just my tool and not me being the tool of the PowerPoint. So, I think that bright backgrounds compete against you on stage. So, you have to go and settle with a dark background. The dark background will give it a subtle effect, will really give you the chance to shine in your discussion because at the end of the day, you have to remember that you are the presentation and that the PowerPoint is just a tool. Lalo nang hindi naman ako ganun kaputian, so talagang problema ko yon na pag-white ang background. And daw na dark na yung background, I'm sure na mas maputi naman ako kahit paano dun sa dark background na meron ako. So at least I shine better, I will be seen better than the PowerPoint if I use dark background in my presentation. Okay, so yun, that's the 5th tip and trick. I suggest that you guys use dark background. 6th tip and trick, count. Let's play a short game habang nandito tayo. I want you to try to find out and count kung ilan yung items, ilan yung bilog na nasa mga slides na ipapakita ko. So, bilangin nyo, like, you don't have to answer it dyan sa comments. Just try to count while watching. Ilan ba ang bilog na makikita nyo sa bawat slide? Let's see. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Sabihin nyo sa akin kung ilan ang bilog dito sa slide na to. Go! Ilan yon sa tingin nyo? Ayan, pakita ko ulit. So yan, hindi ko siya actually rin mabilang agad-agad in a second. But actually it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It has 9 circles in it. So you see, nahirapan yung brain natin na i-process siya kung ilan yung bilog in just a few seconds. Let's have another slide. Let's try to look at this one in 3, 2, 1, go. Ilang bilog to? Yan. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So again, medyo mahirap pa rin siyang basahin at intindihin kung ilan talaga yung bilog na yan in one glimpse, at a glance. Pero dito sa slide na to, papakita ko sunod, sa isang tinginan mo lang, alam mo na it has 6 circles, which really goes to show that the brain can process 6 items in a screen at once, in a glance. Kasi nga, ang bilis mo lang mabasa na, 6 na bilog yan. Therefore, guys, the 6th tip and trick is to make sure that your items in the PowerPoint slide do not exceed 6. Ito yung luma nating slide. Diba? Ito yung luma nating slide. And if you can see, magbilang tayo, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has 8 stuff in it. And it sounds a lot. And it looks a lot. It looks overwhelmingly a lot. Like, ang dami niyang laman. It has 8 items in it. So, what's the best way to fix this? Let's not be afraid to add an extra slide. Let's remove everything and then put 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 items in it lang. Let's put the title, let's put the photo of the trabeculae, and then let's apply the principle of contrast in it na may mga contrast color siya to give it emphasis on the most important salient parts of the discussion. So ito, malinis siyang tignan. I can breathe just by looking at it. I'm not overwhelmed with the information, lalo nang mahirap na yung topic. Pero magtatanong kayo, the problem is, it's going to have another slide. And it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's perfectly okay to have that many slides. Kasi the problem with PowerPoint is not the number of slides, but the number of contents in the slide. If just a fun fact, pang 42 na tong slide na to. And you might not have noticed na pang 42nd slide na siya, pero yes, pang 42nd slide na siya, pero hindi mo siya may feel. Dahil nga, hindi siya maraming content, pero marami lang siyang slides. Kahit pasabihin mo, 10 lang ang slides ng PowerPoint mo, kung ang dami naman content, mas mahirap siyang intindihan at mas boring siyang pakinggan. It's okay kung after itong buong PowerPoint ko, nasa 70 slides siya. Pero it wouldn't feel like it has 70 slides because it was never a problem kung ilan yung slides. It was always the problem of ilan yung content sa slides. So, asa na yung Eiffel Tower na part? I think that the Eiffel Tower part of the trabeculae was very interesting and very relatable. So, why not put it in another slide? So, let's get another slide and tell the students that, guys, the structural hierarchy of the tubes within tubes of the trabeculae inspired the Eiffel Tower design. Look at this one. Yung mga sa loob na tubo ng trabeculae, yun ang nag-inspire sa concept ng Eiffel Tower. So, kumuha ka pa ng isa pang slide. Anyway, wala namang bayad yung pagkuha ng extra slide. Eh. So, yun. Put another slide, give emphasis to the things that will help your students relate to the topic more. Yun. More tips and tricks. I'm almost done with my PowerPoint presentation slide, so don't worry. The next tip I'm going to be talking about is to use fonts well. There are two types of fonts that we have. The first type of font is a serif font, like Times New Roman, Garamond, or Courier New. And these are best used sa mga documents or Word documents, or if you're going to be printing them in a hard copy. Kapag hard copy yung yung document, usually you use serif fonts. Ngunit subalit datapwat, kapag gagamit ka ng PowerPoint presentations or soft copy lang, you use a sans serif font like Arial, Century Gothic, or Calibri. Yan, best yan for PowerPoint presentations. Hindi kasi siya, it tends to be much more easier to be read on the screen than in print. So if you can notice, your Facebook, your phones also use sans serif fonts because it's much better designed kapag sa screen lang siya. And then next tip is use the presenter view, but it's a little complicated for now kasi I can't demonstrate it kasi hindi rin naman natin siya magagamit unless naka face-to-face classes tayo. But I will still give it the instructions on how to use this in the handouts that I will be giving out. And then last, sa totoong buhay, who would actually have the time to do this? Yes, Sir Ray, ang ganda, ang haba ng discussion paano sa paggawa ng presentation, but who would actually have the time to make these presentations? So, ang tanong dyan, saan ka kukuha ng oras para gumawa ng ganyan karaming PowerPoint sa lahat ng topics mo? So, I'm going to be introducing to you slideshare.net. I'm sure all of you have already been familiar with slideshare.net. It's actually an online slide hosting service. Like, people can send PowerPoints that they made on the slideshare.net, and people can collaboratively share, download, edit, upload their own documents din. So, ang problema doon is may bayad siya. So, sa lahat ng nag-attend ng webinar na to, alam ko, familiar kayo sa SlideShare kasi pwede kayo mag-download ng mga PowerPoints kayo sa solar system or anything like about sa Editor Speaks, Arts and Photos, Business, and etc. So, ang kagandaan is all of those who attended this webinar will be given access to my slideshare.net account. It's LNHS inset and then password 123 yung password. So, pwede nyo gamitin to para makapag-download kayo, but please be responsible enough to log it out after using it para yung iba makadagamit din. Okay, so again, the username is LNHS inset and the password is password 123. So hopefully you guys will be able to understand how to use slideshare.net more, and it will take some things off your plate para hindi naman kayo sobrang mag-start from scratch. Yun nga, word of caution and take it with a grain of salt. You will just have to make sure that you verify the data and the things that are on the PowerPoint before you actually present to your class, kasi at least yun na lang ang gagawin mo when you download stuff from SlideShare. Okay, last tip that I'm going to be talking to you about is this. Break the rules. Bakit? Bakit kailangan i-breaking rules? Kasi para sa akin, as a teacher, if you will be limited by the rules that I've set, by the things that I've said here in this presentation, kung malilimit kayo sa pagtuturo, like for example, hindi ko kaya pwedeng gawin yan kasi sabi ni sir hanggang 6 items lang, or hindi ko pwedeng itabi yan dyan kasi dapat daw ganito yung size. And then it limits you as a teacher in discussing things, then please break the rules. Because these things that I've talked about are just suggestions in how you could possibly make good and effective PowerPoints. At the end of the day, you are still the teaching material. You are still the best instructional material because you are the teacher, and you have the full right to choose how the PowerPoint will best assist you in delivering lessons in your classes. So, these are just suggestions. Remember that the PowerPoint is just a tool, and you are still the teacher who will be leading the students and giving the students the lessons that they have to learn for the day. So, yun lang. I'm very thankful for anyone who might have listened to my webinar, and for those who have attended, thank you very much po. If you have questions or suggestions, please let us know, and we appreciate your time in listening to this webinar. So, thank you very much po sa lahat na nag-attend.